What's up, BMXs? Good to have you guys back. It's been a while, it's been a minute. What's up, X-Men? How you been keeping?
Cappuccino. No, I'm great.
Sounds
I'm great. Thanks.
That's good. King B.
Always great, always great. Yeah, man, we've got this very interesting. I would rather put it as a question rather than a statement. Why is it so easy to destroy and very difficult to build? Take it in.
Bulldozer style.
This question is very important. Hopefully, we'll be able to break it down and come to an answer ultimately. But listen, I've been doing a bit of a study, right? And I've really noticed that it takes years and years and years to build a brand, an organization, an individual for that matter.
Yeah.
But upon building that, I've also realized that it takes just a moment, a single thing,
Yeah.
or a single event to just
Collapse everything.
to
basically.
collapse everything or
Yeah.
to demise everything. And if you look at some reputable companies as well that have literally been liquidated because of one bad business decision. And so, as a result of that bad decision, they've basically had to exit the scene and they were never seen again. But they've been companies with long standing, with good income statements, good revenues, good profits. They've been doing very well and they've been offering a specific service. But then it just takes one event. But to build those companies, it
It
took
takes a
so
lifetime.
much and many
Yeah.
years.
It's also like the cancel culture to some extent, right?
Yes.
Because I mean, you serve your time, you have loved like 40 years of doing the right things, good things, and one moment of lapse and everything just crumbles. I think it was Einstein as well that went to some varsity as well, and he was I think he was busy with the 9 times table, and he went 9 times 1, 9 times 2, 9 times 3, all the way
yes,
until
yes,
the
yes.
end. So he got everything right, and in the
Right.
end he intentionally made a mistake, and everyone started laughing,
And the class was quiet the whole time
Yeah.
while he was basically
doing
getting
everything the right.
accurate.
Yeah.
And that one time that he got it wrong, which was intentionally, and then suddenly you started to hear a bit of noise. Yes.
So so is it like a matter of the people, how we actually kind of take information in, or what we um how we actually brought up to kind of point out people's wrongs very easily and not accept the good and the bad of people? Because I mean, like, a company today could serve you very well in terms
Yes.
of the brands that they actually provide you with, or the products they provide you with as a brand.
Mhm.
And tomorrow the brand kind of slips up with a design or something of that sort, and you're like ridiculed. You go on social media and you just rip them a new one. Is it a matter of our psyche? Is it like that we perfectionists and we only want to get the perfect type of product or the perfect type of result?
I mean, I think you mentioned a very good point there when you said that cancel culture is one of the biggest contributors to why things are the way that they are, which is destroying destroying something is much more easier than it is to actually build something. And take that last statement, to build something does not mean that you're building it on the grounds of being politically correct, being always right and not making mistakes along the way. You make mistakes. That's the concept of building, right? You make mistakes and then you are afforded an opportunity to rectify those mistakes. But then the cancel culture does not represent that rhetoric, right? Their aim is to eradicate, is to evict, is to extinct, take you out completely, because we don't have room for healing. We don't have room for rectification. So instead of counseling you, right, which is, let's find out, can we educate you on that subject matter that you got wrong? Can we come together? Um, can we understand your point of view? Can we understand where
Mm.
you were at that point in time? Because some of the things are a point in time. Now you hear, and this is something that I just don't understand. Now you hear people, right, whom at one point in life, right, they were doing things in a certain way, right, based on what they were exposed to. And they've since made amends to correct their wrongs. And now they're in a completely different space in life altogether. But just because of cancel culture, their past life will be brought to present. And then they will be what? They will be castigated for their past life, right? And for me, that says you're not interested in actually finding out if the person is in the right space right now. You're only interested in digging dirt and then destroying what this person has actually built. And now we find these things compounding, compounding, compounding. I was wrong in this, and now I'm wrong in multiple other things that aren't even relevant to what actually got me in a position where I could be destroyed. X-Men.
Yeah, I think like in terms you also mentioned, building takes time.
Hmm.
You know, there's a lot of work which goes into building. Look,
Yes.
if you look at the building we shooting from,
Yes.
you know, there's planning. Someone has a vision. They saw this was probably open land, and there was a vision, and you know, the vision came together, and you know, foundation had to be laid, and you know, things like that. And that is why there's so many there's a lot of hard work that goes into to building,
Mm.
because now, as you've mentioned, that it's also mistakes that's made, like, you know, this brick is not supposed to be there. Let's
Yeah.
try it another way, you know, in order for that structure to stand for some time, or the foundation to hold that structure up, let me put it that way.
Mm.
Right. So there's a lot of things that goes into building, and you know, destroying is also, you've also just mentioned something about there's no room for
No margin for error.
margin for error.
Mm.
And I think, like you told, we speaking about cancel culture. You
Mm.
know, these cancelled culture is like just one big voice, you know, where, remember, previously we didn't have all these platforms,
Yes.
you know, to represent, or to or people were not, people were basically not open about what they believe in,
Mm.
or you know, so basically now the platforms are there, and people are coming out now, and people has voices, and therefore, you know, if you get many voices
Yes.
and who stands together, you know what you're gonna, you definitely going to have,
Chaos.
you know, chaos,
Mm.
if we can put it that way. Chaos, or what they believe does not sit well with them,
Mm. And
you know.
Yes.
so for
Conformity.
yeah,
Conformity,
that's
yeah.
the thing. And
It's the biggest ammunition they've ever used against humankind.
yeah, and but the saddest part about it is what is that it's humankind against humankind.
Humankind,
So
yeah.
it's
Yes.
like there was a saying, I'm not sure who said it, but it was like the most destructive creatures on planet Earth is humans. We have the ability to create and to build,
Yes.
but often enough we actually breaking.
Yes.
We destroying each other. I think maybe there's like a psychological thing that needs to be addressed, because this destroying um, behavior and
Mm.
this cancel culture is something that stems from something. And I think there's some fundamental issue. I think we've spoken about education before, lengthy, before on one of our episodes. But I think it's very important because if we understand the value of building together, we understand the value of numbers, we understand the value of having a neighbor to actually work together and take things forward, we could be much further than what we are now.
And I think you actually made very good points there. So I want to just strip a few of those points and just lay them bare. Um, Take for instance, let's just think of anything that's ubiqu- ubiquitous right now, which is like the death of rappers, like the rapid death of rappers in United States of America. And if you look at most of them, right, they've been doing great things in these
Mm,
communities, right? And some of them die in these communities that
their
they're trying
own
to empower.
community. Yeah.
And so then you get to like a place where you ask yourself, like, why is it that the very people that are being empowered are the very people that are actually working against this sort of empowerment that's being introduced to these communities? And the ones that get to kind of like avoid these things, they don't look back once they leave communities, because it's either they've come to a point where they've understood that if I go back to those communities and try to improve them, it's not going to end all too very well for me. So they move away from them altogether and they never look back, right? Um, why? Why is it so easy? Why is it so easy for that person that's saying that, okay, you know what? I have a dream to make this place a better place. And if I'm put in a position to be able to do so, um, I will do so. Then, as soon as I do so, then I basically get taken out.
The sacrifice, yeah. It's That's again coming back to what I was saying about the how neighbors operate, and how we as people actually operate. That some people just don't want to see other people thrive. So you may even find that you have your lower class, your middle class, and your upper class, and then
Mm.
you have your super wealthy people, and then the maybe like your upper class tries to introduce a balance and introduce more um facilities to the lower class, and
Yeah.
the middle class doesn't actually doesn't appreciate that, because now they will now be kind of on an average level, and now they no more going to be on a middle class. So it's like, nah, nah, nah.
So,
Sorry.
so you know what? Let me actually introduce a perfect example. This actually reminds me of
Sorry.
a particular hedge fund,
Mm.
right? So I'm not quite sure if you guys are familiar with the GameStop saga.
Yes,
Yeah, I did
you
actually
mentioned it, yeah.
give you a synopsis on
Mm.
that. So basically, GameStop as a stock and as a company is not doing very well, right? So they were nearing bankruptcy,
Mm.
right? So there is a hedge fund that was actually betting on the downfall of GameStop, meaning
GameStop.
that they're making money from um, GameStop's demise.
Mm.
Um, and in order for them to really like recoup the maximum value of their investment, it has to really like go bankrupt, right? Um, so which speaks to obviously destroying, because you're
Yeah,
contributing towards
the
destroying that
Mm.
downfall, yeah.
company. Um, the investors will say this is the world we live in, but anyways, so then this company ended up, because then a group of retail investors actually turned the situation around, right? So the hedge fund ended up actually losing money, and they were like 20% into losses. And if you're a hedge fund, you go 20% into losses, people start to think, I need to move my money, right? So people will start pulling their money because you've lost investors' confidence. So they will actually decide to go elsewhere and invest with a hedge fund that is a bit more um, good standing, or that is in good standing. So the company ended up obviously like the hedge fund, that is, they ended up losing so much that they couldn't be in the business any longer, right? But you look at that scenario, right? And you look at how these guys at one point they were destroying, right? And in turn, they got destroyed themselves, right? And this is exactly what's happening when you destroy. Nobody wins, right?
Mm.
You, as a person that's destroying something, versus the person that you're destroying or the particular something that you're destroying, no one is winning in this situation. Both of you guys are not winning. But actually, when you look at building, when we build, then you are helping the next guy as well. You are helping the community, and everyone else is actually growing because everyone else is building. So, but then people tend to focus more on what side, on the side that gets to destroy. And they've mastered this so much so they've given us something that can actually uniform us. And then we can then all think in one way and then we can all act in one way, which is the internet, social media. It's so easy for people right now. I can tell you today, if social media says, if someone started a trend that says, um,
Or like you dancing on TikTok, was it you or that?
I don't have TikTok. I don't even want to have TikTok anyway. So I see you just starting with your lies. Let's say, for instance, Jay-Z. Jay-Z drops an album, right? And people have decided that, okay, you know what? I want to get the most likes today. So I'm going to trash his album and everyone else is going to follow. The ones that have not listened to the album already, they look at what's trending. Oh, Jay-Z's album is trash. Guess what? They thinking his album is trash. So when you ask them, how are you finding the Jay-Z album? You're already telling me all the things that you've read that are negative about the album, but you've not even had the time to listen to the album. And they've mastered this, and people don't know that this is a problem yet. They've mastered this because now they can tell someone makes a mistake, right? In corporate, um, it makes its way on social media. They don't even have context, right?
About it.
They're already calling for his removal in that company. He must step down. He must be dismissed. But you do not know the story. Johnny Depp,
Mm.
imagine like the time that he took being on the sidelines trying to vindicate himself. But what happened to his career? It stalled
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
during that
told.
time, right? But people had already made a foregone conclusion
Yeah,
without
true.
even the facts, without the evidence, all of those things. Why?
What about guys that are incarcerated for, let's say, whatever crimes committed like 20, 30 years ago, and only to find out that they're innocent?
Yeah, it was
You've seen
false.
a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've seen a lot of those guys, right?
Yeah.
Because of someone. It's also part of breaking down,
Yeah,
because I
for
mean,
sure.
what happens to that person's life, like for that you can't make up, no one, you can't make up for those 30, 20 years.
Yeah,
you
you
know
Exactly.
cannot.
what are you going to say? Just, I'm sorry. Or if the judge hears the case again, and they'll say, no, this person was not innocent. What
Mm,
happens to those 30 years, you know which that person spent, incarcerated?
yeah.
That's
you know
painful because
it's
what do
it,
they
it,
say? The most valuable commodity.
It's time.
it's time.
So imagine 30 years of
So
And
time
just
lost.
gone.
again, coming back to your point, it's about people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
humans,
Yeah.
you know, doing this to other humans,
Yeah.
Yes. And it's
breaking.
about the culture being encouraged as well to do this because this is the culture that we're breathing on right now. We are saying that, okay, as soon as a person like makes a mistake, okay,
Get on it and me too. Me too. Me too. Me
me
too.
too,
Yeah.
yes, me too. Okay, well, okay, I think that's obviously like a different undertaking altogether. Okay, so you make a mistake, right? Everyone is ready to malign you, right? Um, okay, subject to the mistake itself, because there are mistakes that are forgivable, and well, there are those ones where you look at you like this is irreparable harm. It's very difficult to look past. Obviously, like the retribution would have to be a bit more stringent or harsh.
And that's for the court to decide.
And that's for the court to decide. But we are talking about basic things here, like Maurice refused to wear this color because he doesn't agree with this color, and because Maurice doesn't want to wear this color, now he actually offends the other group. Now the other group is saying that Maurice does not believe in this, so therefore Maurice is this, right?
Canceling.
And so for Maurice must be cancelled, right? And now here's the problem: these brands are also budging, or these corporations, they're also complying now. They are no longer loyal to actually understanding what the problem is. Okay, can we help you? Right? Because you can also offer that. Why aren't we offering that? If a person has made a mistake, why is the first instinct not to actually help that person? Can we help you? Can we make you a better person? Can we inform you better? Right? Because sometimes, guys, okay, X, do you want to add? Because I want to say things right now. Assumption is a very dangerous thing as well. But yeah,
No, continue.
no.
I'm actually listening to.
Yeah.
Maurice,
So
What would you like to?
in with that being said, right? I, I'm just thinking about, so how would we actually like bring about that change? What would be, or if a change were to be concocted in the background,
Mhm.
like what would we want to see? I think about, like, individuality, like, I mean, even if we don't agree with each other's preferences,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, that's your individual preference.
That doesn't
And
exist in today's world.
it doesn't, because you have to kind of follow what everyone else, the
Yes.
majority actually,
Yes.
is actually ruling on. And that's a problem, because it also halts progress.
100%.
Sorry. So I think, the importance of having that uniqueness, and also the relationship with understanding the relationship between two people,
Mm.
and the importance of community. Because, like, why would you allow for some of your community members to suffer in poverty, and you thriving, and later on, because later on those are the same people that become, okay, let me not say this, but, like, in some cases people become criminals, because if
But it's not your fault because you're thriving, and then some people so happen not to have made it in life, and then now they start to fall into these things.
yeah, no,
No.
not in that case. What I'm saying is that if you intentionally rob someone of an opportunity,
Yes.
to allow yourself to thrive,
Yes.
and then halt everyone else's progress, now later on, because, I mean, if you look at a community, it could be as big as a country, right? And then you could be like, well, if certain people are not allocated tenders, or jobs, then what would happen? Because if, like, 30, 40, 50% of the country is not working, what's the next step for that 30, 40, 50%? If there's no opportunities at all, yeah, some people will, start doing something, then other people will rely on the government for funding and stuff like that, which also then affects taxpayers, and then other people resort to crime.
You know what that is reminiscent of? It actually reminds me of um, what I always say, actually. Um, do we even know why we're doing what we're doing, right, as people? Do you know why you actually in the tendering business? Do you understand what you're there for?
No, it's just about making money.
Or is exactly my point? Or is it just about making money? Because if it's about making money, then the services that are supposed to be rendered will not have any service delivery.
And that is not building.
That is not building, right? It's
That is a facade.
destroying. It's the
Yeah.
opposite. You are
Yeah.
basically destroying, because what you're doing is, if you were given money, right, to develop our infrastructure, okay, build some roads here. And then you say, okay, I will build some roads. I've got a company here. You've registered a company yesterday, by the way. That's what they do. They register companies yesterday, and then they go bid for tenders. And then when they get the tenders, okay, here's your job, right? Do you understand what you're doing? Do you understand the impact of what you're doing? Do you understand the legacy behind what you're doing? No. The only thing I'm interested in is the bag, right? So I will follow process until I receive the bag. And once I receive the bag, I will go away. Now, guess what? This is the sad part. those people are the ones that the community, or are the ones that online, on social media platforms, internet, those
Praises
people
them.
are being praised, they're
Yeah.
being glorified.
Yeah.
And I ask a question: why should a politician be famous when a politician is a public servant?
Mm.
And they are famous online, they are famous in newspapers, and it's not for the work that they've done,
Mm.
it's for everything else but
Beside.
the work they've done. So why do we have situations like that? Because a politician should be nowhere near celebrity status. Why do we have politicians that are like celebrities?
It's the skewed perception of the general public, and I think at the end of the day it all comes down to greed. It comes down to money, because people basically see tenderpreneurs and all these things as your idols and your role models,
Yes.
and they don't see your cobblers, your vendors, your small businesses as
Yes.
people. That's examples, the small creators, those people who ends up building some small tables and on a small scale, but like very creative. They don't see that as a wow thing. Only at the point where this person now is like, Joshua Doe, you got an uncle in the furniture business. Now people want to praise, be like, yeah, we saw the bank balance is a couple of million. Like, why does it have to be that? So people are glorifying money.
Yes.
And I think that's where everything, because at the end of the day, like, what is the value of money?
Remember, we also spoke about it before. I think we said that money is a tool,
Mm,
Mhm.
and what does a tool do? A tool builds,
mm,
right?
Mhm.
And a tool also destroys, because if
Mm.
you need to take something apart, you're going to use the tool.
mm,
Yeah.
So these people, like, once you have that money, use it as, to build, for the right reasons. But now we spoke, you just mentioned, now you also said, it's greed.
mm,
And where greed is, now you have the tool, and in the same breath, you destroying.
Mm.
You not only you destroying the community, because now you keeping all this money to yourself,
mm.
right? And then you on social media, and a lot of things, and with that, and so then investigations, there's now investigations against you to see how did you get the money. And that's how, because you didn't know how to share, you didn't know how to use this tool
Yes.
that was
Yeah.
given to you.
So you,
Instead of going back to the community and
Yeah.
building the community,
Yes.
you've
and
enriched yourself and destroyed yourself and destroyed the
exactly,
community.
And
It's a
yes,
vicious cycle.
Which
yeah,
which goes back exactly,
and
Mandela,
that is,
right?
and that
It's
is,
cyclical.
yeah.
Mm.
So that's like in today's ecosystem, yeah.
It's a
Mm.
norm. Yeah.
It's a norm,
Yeah.
because people are just chasing the bag,
Yeah.
chasing the
Yes.
bag in the wrong way.
In the wrong
Yeah.
way. And the problem with our modern society is, if you have the bag, you are respected. The guy that works so hard and
Yeah.
makes an honest living, unfortunately, that guy is not respected. That guy is often overlooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lady that wakes up in the morning, right, and says, I'm not gonna go to Sentin and expect a man to actually give me a life that I can't give myself. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to wake up every morning, work hard, and
Sell fat cake and months.
huh? Sell what?
Fat cake and months.
Sell cake and mince, whatever.
Yeah.
Sell cake and mince,
Fat cake, not
but-
cake.
or fat cake and
Yeah.
mince.
Yeah. That's good.
That lady is not respected in modern society.
Yeah.
But the lady that opens OnlyFans account, post pictures on OnlyFans, guess how much they getting? The value.
Millions.
Millions. Those people are getting millions for being naked, by the way. Right? Right now, tell me, if there is any bank that will say to that lady in the streets, right? or any organization, any corporation, right, that will say, I will give you money, because the first thing they will ask is, where is your paperwork that's going to prove me that, okay, you know what, you
Mm.
have it. But the person that opened an OnlyFans account
It's
that has
easier
a
for them
million,
to get.
it's easier for them to get, because their photos, their nudity is earning them a very handsome chunk, inordinate amount of money.
But why can't you be serious about this topic?
What do you mean?
The nudity, and then you start laughing.
I
Please,
am
this.
serious. I am serious, of course. But I'm just saying that, like, it seems like it's so difficult these days to actually like build, because you can't tell me that that's building.
Yeah.
Having OnlyFans, what happens when you get tired of seeing your tits? What happens? We're gonna move away from you. Isn't
X-Men
it? So you cannot have a legacy from showing tits. So
X-Men
all
is
of those,
refusing to answer because he doesn't want people to be tired of seeing his.
he doesn't want people to stop their OnlyFans. Sorry, man.
No, of
Wait.
stopping his OnlyFans.
Oh. Okay, sorry, X. I didn't realize that I was affecting your business. Same as music.
Yeah.
This is not just because we also have to address everything. Same as music. This bragging about committing crimes in rap, right? You're not building people by doing that. You are making a lot of money. Yes, we agree. But ask yourself, are you building? And ultimately, what happens to those people? You live by the sword, you die by the sword. The words that they actually utter about some of the things that they do, they end up happening to them, right? And then we then say, why? Why? Because at the very core, at the very beginning, we weren't building anyways, we were destroying. But because we're getting paid to continue to destroy, you can destroy by just like saying some words. Words can destroy, basically. Yeah.
True.
If you go to a group of people and you tell them this is what's happening, you tell them lies. There's a guy basically, and there's a documentary on Netflix about that guy, right? He used poor people to enrich himself, right? To become a billionaire using poor people, right? He created this very beautiful pyramid scheme that only benefited people from the top. Such people, they're not building. They tell you that we're going to enrich you, we're going to make you a better man, and they will obviously speak down on what you do, your work, your honest living. Your honest living is not going to get you far. So then they actually bring things that will actually fast track you into the life that they want you to see. They want you to actually imagine. And guess what? They end up being the only ones that get to benefit. And most of them have a unique yet very similar ending.
On that note, what I wanted to ask as well is like with sport. I was reading something recently about certain sports being a multi-billion-dollar industry from being from a humble beginning. So again, it's like the game hasn't really changed per se. At the end of the day, it's still either tennis, cricket, soccer, baseball, whatever the sport is.
Yeah.
But now you have certain people right at the top that decides to kind of rig the system, and introduce a different element to it and pump in a lot of money, which some people also are speaking about. Well, this is speculations that has been circulating that people are actually using it as means to clean money.
Yes.
You actually sponsor teams, or you get involved with buying teams, and then teams win or lose or whatever, and then money gets exchanged, and then also people buy loses or buy wins, and then at the end of the day, the narrative is basically controlled.
But you look at sportsmen as well. Like you'll find out that a sportsman worked, he worked his butt off, like just to get to that level, and then someone just comes along
Yes.
and offers them kickbacks or whatever bribes,
To throw the game.
to throw the game away, or you get what I'm saying. And then what happens to that? We know someone, the famous Hansi Cronje, that he had that scandal where he was the captain of South Africa
Mm.
cricket, and because of that scandal, you know, what happened to his reputation?
Yeah, it was tarnished, although he was
It was
considered
tarnished,
as one of
and
the greats.
how much, like the effort, the sacrifices he had to put to get to that point,
Mm.
and just because of that, the decision that he made,
He made at that point in time.
The
yeah,
whole team's reputation was now
yes.
tarnished as well.
Okay, was there any conviction in that outcome?
Well, there was like I don't know,
Uh,
some hearing or whatever,
yeah, there
right?
definitely was, because I think it was found.
So
It was,
basically, like, was he found guilty? Because I wanna,
yeah,
Yes.
I
there
wanna
was.
qualify the statement and maybe
He
put allegedly.
he was allegedly. Let's say he was
Mm,
allegedly. If we can go,
Allegedly
wait,
is a safe word you use if you wanna avoid being sued. I've
yeah.
just given you game if you
So
didn't know.
so allegedly, right? So basically, it happened allegedly, and thereafter he passed away
yeah,
suddenly in
plane
a
crash, I
plane
think.
crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
And I know that
that's
there's
bad.
another guy, Muhammad Amir from Pakistan. He
Mm.
was convicted and he served prison time and he confessed as well. So it's not alleged anymore.
You
He
don't
is
want to start
guilty.
talking about Pakistan, bro. Yo, Pakistan friends, we're good. We're good.
Nah,
Excuse this
Pakistan
guy.
is, yeah, no. We good with Pakistan. And we're also good with Muhammad Amir. It was a mistake. He was a young person. He did this.
Yeah.
He was kind of forced into it to some extent. But basically, these things happen. This is what we're
He's
saying.
atoning, basically.
Yes, and
Yeah.
he came back and he did really well for the country. He's also playing international cricket, domestic cricket elsewhere. So he's turned over a new leaf, and
Mm.
I think that's the good thing that we as a society and maybe as cricket as well that has accepted that. Yes, he got booed at the time that he came up, but like mistakes happen. You also
Yeah.
need to understand the foundation of the problem. He came from a fairly poor background, and also
Mm.
things was not too good in Pakistan. So it was a means of him actually having extra cash to feed his family, but
Yeah.
also it was kind of like peer pressure of some sort, because it was his captain actually that kind of motivated him to actually do this, and he wasn't really comfortable with it, but he ended up doing it. So
Mm.
I think again comes back to that foundation, that education, so
Mm. And you know what, Maurice? I want to use something that's so conspicuous. Take a security guard,
mm,
all right? Um, a lot of people don't understand how valuable that individual is or those people are.
mm,
Because basically, what those people are doing is take a security guard of an estate. That person is securing 100 million in assets.
mm,
100 million in assets, right? Plus, in fact. Um, and you have people that look down on those guys, and you have people that give those people attitude, people that stay within those estates, right? They will give these guys some bad attitude because they have scarcely the faintest idea of what these guys are doing, understanding what you're doing. And if right now you were to sit with a security guard, right? But then, like, they're not wearing a uniform and ask them, um, what do you do? Right? They would be so ashamed to speak about their profession or their career. And yet it's so important.
mm,
And because they cannot speak about it in these terms, right?
mhm,
They cannot see it because if you understand the value of your career, you can speak about it in glowing terms, right? And so for me, it goes back to that education. Why are we not, when we're training security guards, why are we not, if we aren't, by the way, I'm assuming we aren't, but if we aren't, but let's suppose we're not doing that, why aren't we actually telling these people that, listen, you are responsible for securing 150 million worth of assets,
and you are important.
and you are very
They're
important.
just important as the guys doing the hedge fund.
Yes, you are
You
just
know.
as important as that guy,
Yeah.
right? So once we start to build communities like that, people that can actually see the real tangible value
Value,
in
yeah.
what they're actually doing, right? Their input in the community. Then the narrative or the paradigm starts to shift a little bit, right? Now, the criminals that are staying in hotels, right, stealing from the people that are working so hard, right, um, then we start to give them less airtime in life.
Mm.
By doing that, we are making
Breaking
them
their shackles,
lesser
basically.
and lesser
Yeah.
and lesser, right? These things, we can control them, right? It's within our control. There are things that we cannot control that we've placed the government to be able to help us with that. And we pay the government to help us with that, by the way. It's not for free. So let's not make it seem like the government is doing us a favor for
Yeah.
providing social security. It's a prerequisite for any government. Social security, provide that for us, right? So there are things that they have. We need their divine intervention, right? That we cannot do, right?
Mm.
So we need their divine intervention. But then I see so many criminals basically roaming free, and they're known to be criminals,
Mm.
but they're roaming free because you know what they can do is they can provide money upon arrest.
They can
Hey,
buy the government.
like, let this slip under the carpet,
Mm.
right? And the law abiding citizens would have to pay for that. And boy, we pay ludicrous sums of money for people's mistakes. Let's put it out there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Things, guys.
yeah, we leave it open. It's a very nice conversation, Mengel. But I think we need to rethink building rather than destroying.
Definitely.
And building does not mean that we are looking at people that are doing the right things only. There are wrongs within right as well. So
Yeah.
let's see if we can learn. Let's see if we can reshape. Let's see if we can rebuild. Let's see if we can help a person develop and actually get to a point where they can rectify whatever mistakes that they're actually making, right?
I mean, look at
within the
penicillin.
bounds of morality.
I mean, penicillin was discovered by mistake. You know,
Mm.
mistakes happen, and sometimes it's good. So
Yeah.
thanks, guys. X-Men. Is there anything in closing that you'd like to add? Because it seems like you have a lot to say today.
Now you actually.
I'm so sorry about that. I promise, guys, I will allow X-Men more time next time. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in.
Thanks.
Thank you for sitting down with us, guys. I hope you have a safe journey going forward. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Yeah, we need to speak.